Okay, I've got to apologise for the lack of content lately, but it has been getting increasingly difficult to do things. But today we shall be looking at the faction Eriador in 3rd Age Reforged, and Eriador I think have been one of the factions to improve the most actually into Reforged. They're not like the strongest faction in Reforged, but they are certainly a force to be reckoned with now, whereas before in Vanilla they were certainly one of the weaker factions, and it was very difficult to play them with any sort of potency because they did lack a lot of the key ingredients that make up a good balanced faction, but they have had that added now. And let's take a look at their roster before seeing them in action on the field. Okay, so I have actually upped the enemy level as well for the fact that I'm now facing 3 factions instead of 1, because I think the Isengard demonstration was a little bit too one-sided for my liking, but nonetheless, that's for that's a matter for in a moment, but we will now be looking at Eriador's roster, and Eriador have been expanded upon in all the right areas, I believe, to make them a little bit more competitive. Here at the low end, you still have the Bandits, the Hobbitry in Arms, and the Breland Militia. Now, these units are all fairly, they are cannon fodder, to be brutally honest. The Breland Militia are, okay in the fact that they can do Skilltron, they have a defense of 16, which isn't dreadful, but, well, it is kind of dreadful, to be honest, but these 3 units are all going to be rather, seldom seen in terms of most battles. You might see the Breland Militia when Eriador are on the defense, they need to save some money and just sort of have a unit for bogging down the attackers. But other than that, I don't think you'll be seeing a great deal of these lower tier units unless you're in a very low funds game. The Lumbermen are a little bit more interesting because the Shock Infantry in Reforged is much more important in the sense that the attack score is very important and the effectiveness against armor is also very important. The Lumbermen are also good at fighting cavalry, which is another little interesting thing, but of course they will stand up very poorly to being charged. There are only 123 of them. They don't really have much armor to speak of, and they only have a defense score of 9, so it's only if the cavalry is already engaged that you want the Lumbermen charging in. If they charge into cav head on, they're going to get melted. Nonetheless, not a bad unit. They're pretty good for what they are. They only cost 380 after all, so if you want to save some money and get yourself some decent damaging infantry, this isn't a bad choice. The Greenway Guards were always the centre of Eriador in Vanilla. They were the unit that you had to base your army around because they were the only ones that were survivable enough to do that. And here it's still sort of the case because a lot of their high-end infantry is kind of expensive, and you won't be able to have all high-end units. And the Greenway Guards are your best bet for saving some money. Only 380, defense of 23 is not bad. They can also make shield walls, so pretty good all round. However, there are only 115 of them now, so not very many of them, but still a decent centre, I feel. Decent spears. Merchant Militia as well, they make a return. They can form shield wall now as well. They are slightly better than the Greenway Guards, but they are also slightly more expensive. These two are the mid-range units of Eriador, really. And the Merchant Militia, they're also well armoured, which is nice, and because they only have the same amount as the Greenway Guards now, the problem in Vanilla was that there was significantly less of them. Now, there is much more of a case for using them. Now moving on to the higher end Eriador melee troops, and the Battle Ready Dunedain are going to be by far and away your most damaging troops in melee, of course. With, a very high attack score, hit points, all that good stuff. The Battle Ready Dunedain have been buffed since I covered them in the top 10 shock infantry list, so they are a very damaging unit, and they will be the scariest thing that Eriador can field on foot, just as they were in Vanilla. There is also the Cardolan Warband, which, they're essentially, again, fairly mid-range infantry, but they have a lot more attributes than the previous two. Interesting unit, but again, they have a bonus fighting cavalry, which is good as well. So the Cardolan units, in general, are pretty damn good, including the Cardolan Royal Guard. Very good spears. Again, they have hit points. They're not as damaging as the Battle Ready Dunedain, but they will hold the line much better. And of course, the Footmen, which are pikemen. So again, getting pikes is one of the biggest buffs you can ask for because pikes are good. I very much enjoy pikes. The Eriador Archer Force was always pretty strong. It's still strong in a sense. The Hobbit Archers and the Archer Militia, of course, still low tier archers, and the Woodland Hunters not much better. The Banderbrass Archers still decent, maybe not quite as strong relatively speaking as they once were. But the higher end archers, the Cardinal and Elders, who have a missile score of 15 now, so this will actually be a unit which may very well be one of the better units in the game now, ever since the buff, and the Dunedain Rangers, these two units, very strong indeed. But it's not actually the composite bows where Eriador have their strength now, it's their crossbows. The Gatekeepers are extremely strong. The best crossbows in the game, in my opinion, despite not being the most damaging at range. Their effectiveness against cavalry is very, very nice. And then, of course, there is the Eriador Cav Force. Now, the Cav Force of Eriador was always pretty good in vanilla. It was something they could leverage, particularly against the Orcs. They still have a good Cav Force in the sense that it's a little bit more affordable than their peers. And they're not going to be able to beat the likes of Rohan or Gondor in a straight-up cavalry fight, but they will be able to field a good Cav Force and a good infantry force, whereas Gondor is going to have to sacrifice something in terms of infantry if they go all in on the cavalry. So that's worth mentioning. The Greenway Sentries, the Merchants, and the Cardinal Knights are all the slightly lower tier cav, although the Cardinal Knights are very, very good. They have a bonus against cavalry, so that's always nice. And the Mounted Battle Ready Dunedain is still a very strong unit. They don't have hit points, so still not going to be quite as good maybe, and also they don't have the bonus against cavalry, so the Cardinal Knights could very well be considered to be better, even if the very much higher defense score of the Mounted Battle Ready Dunedain stands them in better stead against archers. And the Dunedain bodyguards, they do have hit points, so you will probably be seeing these housing a general more often than not. But still, Eriador's most important unit, in my opinion, is the Grey Company, because the Grey Company have that missile damage at range and the hit points. It's just so difficult to counter if you're facing down horse archers that are this strong. Usually horse archers are more of an annoyance than anything else because they won't get too much damage done, but the Grey Company are very much an exception. They will get a ton of damage done. They have a lot of ammunition, they have hit points, and when they're done, of course, they work as makeshift cavalry, so it's a difficult unit to fight against. And of course they have a ballista and a catapult. But now I shall pick my army, and where to put my general? Well, I won't put my general in the cavalry force, I think. Well, should I? Yeah, I'll put my general in the Dunedain bodyguard unit, and I'll get a couple of Cardinal Knights and a couple of the Grey Company. So this is where a lot of my money is going to be. We're also going to get as many pikes as it will allow, which is 5. And we'll get a couple of dismounted battle-ready Dunedain. And we'll have some merchant militia, I think. Get 4 merchant militia, just in case. And then these 4 spots here, I think we'll take up with... Actually, we'll get rid of 1 merchant militia. We'll have... How many of these? Oh, only 1. Wow, they get a big increase as well. Okay, so that's going to be our archer force. And we shall also have, I think, a ballista. And we'll upgrade. We're not going to be able to get quite as many upgrades as we were with Isengard, because Isengard, of course, has got a lot of cheap filler. Get an armor upgrade for the Grey Company, that's good. And let's get us some chevrons. Okay, and that is going to be my army, and I will meet you on the field. Okay, so here we go. Looks like the enemy is, well, this is Harad, and right over there is the Orcs of the Misty Mountains, so they are going to take some time to get here. You may be wondering why I didn't bring Gatekeepers, and the reason for that is primarily range and the type of army that I was going to bring. I was going to bring a little bit more of a mobile army, and sort of harrying the enemy towards you whilst getting the range of archers, like the Dunedain Rangers. The Gatekeepers are very, very good, but I think they have more of a place in... Well, I think they have more of a place in a more planted Eriador army. So, really, it's not a case of Grey Company or Gatekeepers, but I do believe that the Grey Company, one or the other is probably the better way to do it, because I think that the Gatekeepers, I don't know, I'm rambling here, but the point is I wanted the range of the archers instead of the power of the crossbows, and also the vast majority of Orc armies, at least the Harad army that I picked especially, is not particularly heavily armoured, so what are these guys doing? Oh good, they are actually firing. You know what, you can fire at will. Right, so they're going to keep firing over here. Meanwhile, I'm going to harry the Isengard army with the Grey Company, I think. Yeah, they want to go for the ballista, which I really don't blame them for. But this merchant militia should hold. Mounted battle ready Dunedain's ready to charge in and support the pikes. They shouldn't need it. Harad are sitting in range of my archers, which is a strange move. Right, okay. So the Grey Company are firing. Gotta make sure they don't get too close. Just keep microing them at a distance. I don't really mind what they target in the Isengard army, just get as many kills as they can. Okay, over here, meanwhile, I think it's probably a good idea at least put these guys into guard mode. Actually, let's put them into shield wall as well. Move them forwards a little bit. Doesn't look like they're going to go... Jesus, that was nearly some friendly fire. Nearly very unfortunate indeed. Uruk-hai infantry is taking some pretty severe losses. The Misty Mountains are going to take some time to get over here. This Harad attack is not going to go well. They're sending up their Corsair Savages, which is a good idea in terms of sending up your axes first to do damage, but not like this. Victory seems certain. Dismounted Serpent Guard. There are some good units mixed into all these armies, of course. Oh god. Don't want my Grey Company to be caught by Isengard, that's for sure. Of course, their Savages, the defeat is a distinct possibility. Actually, let's go for the Serpent Guard. Just going to keep moving the Grey Company behind this Harad army. Hopefully we can get some significant damage done to it. Isengard look like they took a few losses. The Misty Mountains army is full of goblins. The Misty Mountains army is actually the most trashy one, but it's also very, very numerous in terms of how many goblins there are. I think the Isengard one is the most elite. There are several units of berserkers in there. Let's get the Serpent Guard dead. Get this Harad army to break. They're not making a lot of leeway against my pikes as expected. Some of the merchant militia has taken a bit of a battering. So this unit here, because they weren't in guard mode, that's my fault. They're still going to win though, because they have the support of the pikes. Meanwhile, back here, the Serpent Guard are taking a significant amount of damage. Up on this hill, I have got a significant advantage, of course, which is nice. The balance of power is not in my favour. Unsurprising, I suppose. Right, they are going to wrap around, aren't they? That's bad. Okay. Right, I'm going to have to trust that my my pikes can actually hold out. I'm going to move my battle-ready Dunedain over here. The Grey Company is doing a decent job. Okay, let's just move you along here a bit more. I'm surprised they haven't just come clattering into my lines, to be honest with you. That's usually how the AI does things. Maybe they will when they get the support from Isengard. Hold on. You guys need to get up there. Start targeting different units of things. Let's get as many kills as you can. There are berserkers heading forwards. That's a bad sign. Ooh, they're going after my Grey Company at long last. This actually works out pretty well though, because it means I can utilize one of my Cardinal Knights to smash that Uruk-hai infantry. What's going on over here? They are now sending forward Uruk-hai to reinforce. Oh, fuck you very much. Okay. Destroy that Uruk-hai infantry. dealing with... they're good with firing at them as well. Isengard have been far more aggressive. Oh, that's bad. Those are berserkers. Actually, you guys can target the berserkers. Right, this should be a good charge though. Let's have a look. That should be a decent amount of casualties that we've inflicted. But they are now turning around. The pikes are still holding for them. Oh god. I may have bitten off more than I can chew here. Victory still seems certain for my mounted battle, well, my dismounted battle ready being down, I should say. Ah, my Grey Company are out of ammunition. Disable skirmish mode and do as I say. Right, okay, we're gonna have no choice here other than to charge it. What on earth are you doing? Come on. Those are berserkers behind you, they're not going to... Right, charge back into the fight. Let's see if we can't get some damage done to these berserkers off a charge. Yeah, a decent amount. Okay. Now get out of melee. The Misty Mountains are still on the way, which is certainly something to be concerned about. Need to deal with this overlap. The merchant militia are not doing well. Don't know what that charge was all about. Charge. Defeat seems certain over there for them, which is nice. Right, that should be a better charge. Right, let's deal with them. The pikes are holding firm, as you would expect. Right, okay. The Grey Company are not really built for taking on berserkers in melee. That's very bad, actually. Shoot them. What are Cardinal Knights doing? Are we breaking some of them? No, they're just shaken. Corsair warriors. A depleted unit of Corsair warriors at that. Let's charge into them. Right, this is bad because they're able to overlap on us. A good player would have done that already, but...
Only half the enemy force remains.
Look at all those goblins. I've already been a dying victory still seems certain for them. Okay, wait a minute. Ooh, this is bad. This is very bad. Ah, these guys. Okay, so these guys are spent, which means we can actually commit them to melee. Charge them into the, ooh, Corsair savages. Charge. Charge the goblins. Right, this is not progressing swimmingly. Over here, my mounted back, well, my dismounted, sorry, I keep saying that. Dismounted battle ready, oh god. Right, this is going horribly. Corsairs. Defeat is almost a certainty for them. Against Ballista Crew? Oh, Dunedain Rangers. Well, that makes a little bit more sense. Right, we actually need to deal with this. I need to get my cavalry out of there. What's going on over here? It's like ants. Reinforce my Battle ready Dunanine. Okay. Oh, I see. Right. Kill the Corsair warriors. See if we can't get these guys to break. Oof, this is bad. They're pouring in. Things are not looking good for the free people. No, leave me alone.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Yeah, my pikes are breaking, so it looks like I have in fact lost the day. Which is a shame. In vanilla I would have been able to do this, but I see that the rebalancing has indeed changed things. Okay, so let's
Only half our force
see if we can
remains.
deal with these orc bodyguards at the very least. Downhill charge, it's gonna hurt. It didn't actually hurt as much as I thought it was going to. That's disappointing. What's going on here? Goblin infantry? They have in fact gotten all in and around my back lines. What is this? Oh. Well, alas, things did not go according to plan. Look at this. What sort of charge was that? I know I was close, but come on guys. Put your back into it. Come on lads, out of melee. Well, it's kind of a lost cause at this point anyway, but nonetheless. Still some fighting going on over here. Alright, well let's consolidate, shall we? Let's make a glorious last stand. What's this? Yeah, some underground goblins. We might be able to break them. Okay, so chaos has ensued. Unidane bodyguards charging in. Victory seems certain. How much damage I did to them. Okay, well. Lesson learned. Don't try to take on 3 full stacks at once. Even with hill advantage and the enemy having no archers, I was no match for them. I also gave them significantly more money than I had. Maybe that's the key. These of course they're savages. I think they have a bonus against.
Our general lies slain
Well,
on the
that was.
battlefield.
The charge of the Rohirrim it was not. Nonetheless, I don't think I've given Eriador a fair showing here because they are much better than a loss. Never mind. I did actually manage to flatten that Corsair Savage unit pretty good. It's a shame my general died. Just keep going with my cav, mowing down as many as I can. Hopefully I don't get caught by something that's scary, like the Uruk-hai bodyguard. Come on lads, get moving. No, not into them. Run. Right, charge into those underground goblins, see if we can get some nice kills. That was a nice charge. My cav is going to have a lot of kills at least. Which is probably for the best. What's going on here? Oh, I see. I think my cav is actually my only units that are left. Oh god. Out of melee, guys. Let's see. I need to kill a lot of them. What is this? Routing Uruk-hai infantry.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Oh, I lost a unit of Cardinal Knights. What's going on back here? Goblins? I'm pretty sure we can indulge in some goblins before we die. Charge. Goblin infantry is going to be no match for the charge of the Dunedain. Dunedain, I should say. Oof. Grizzly. Up to double silver on my general. Oh, they're routing. Is all not lost. Can I charge every unit to death? It would be extremely cheesy. Because they don't, well, they do have Corsair Savages, so I'm gonna die at some point. They've got a bonus against Cav, I think, but... Come on. Get away from that. There's Goblin Infantry to be killed. What's this? No. Goblin Infantry. Let's go this way. My pikes did a decent job at holding the line, but ultimately there were too many of them. They were able to wrap around me. Maybe I should have gone right into the corner of the map and turtled up like that, formed like a noob quarter circle. Oh god, I thought it crashed then. Please don't crash. Not now. Well, I guess it's probably a good idea for me to just end it quickly then, if the game is stuttering so. They're routing. Deal with those Corsair Savages next, because they're shaken and they're pointing the wrong way. Damn, son. Cavalry strong. Look at this jittering. I shouldn't turn it up to big settings, or high settings, I should say. Never a good idea. No, don't attack the routing unit. Attack that unit of Goblin Infantry that's pointing the wrong way. Might be able to rout them. This is going to be dragging on for an exceedingly long time, provided I micro correctly. They are shaken. They are not going to break though, because they are actually moving away from it. What on earth are they doing? Why are they all moving over here? Are they trying to like box up on the hill or something so that I can't do this? It'd be interesting if the AI was actually smart enough to do that. It looks like the goblins have finally realised they're being attacked. Like, wait a minute. This unit was considerably bigger 5 minutes ago. You know what? Charge into them again. Try and break them. Oh, here come Herad with all their axes. No, not in the face. They are shaken. Don't think I'm going to break them though. Not off that charge. What is the AI doing? I think it's breaking. How strange. Well, regardless, my cavalry is going to continue to do this. Oh, it's routing. Good. They are routing. Let's get into those Corsairs, because that's going to be a very easy unit to break. I'm not sure what they're doing. They could just send their axes in. And this unit is going to break pretty much immediately. Oh, I'm going to get surrounded. They have lured me in. That unit of Corsairs didn't even break. That's impressive. No, my Cardinal Knights. There we go. Well, the AI lured me in. No, the shame. Good lord. Well, there is my kills. And the cavalry got a lot of kills, obviously. The Grey Company got a lot of kills. How did the archers do? Let's see. Yeah, they did well, as always. The ballista seemed like a bit of a waste, to be honest. I'd have been better off getting another unit of archers. Certainly another unit of infantry to help hold the line. But yes, I have not really done Eriador justice there, but In terms of the pros of Eriador's army, I would say their skirmisher variety is first and foremost. They have excellent crossbows and mounted archers. They also have good foot archers. They don't have the best foot archers, but it's certainly very, very good ones. And across the board, their skirmishers are very good. The only thing they're missing really is axe throwers or jabbies. Maybe they'll get them in the future, I don't know. But yeah, at range, Eriador have got a lot of options, and they're going to be able to cause you a lot of problems if you're up against them. Affordable cavalry is another good one. The Cardinal Knights, in hindsight, weren't really the right choice here because they are better against other cavalry. But the cavalry across the board, including their mounted skirmishers, of course, is very good value for money when you compare them to the other cav-heavy factions. And Eriador's army is also pretty adaptable, I've noticed. Like the Grey Company running out of ammo, they're decent at charging down weaker enemies. The Gatekeepers, they're good at fighting cavalry and melee, that sort of thing. Their units tend to be quite multi-purpose, and that's very, very nice. And they need to be because the cons are they lack in the high end in a few areas, particularly their heavy infantry. Like you saw here, my infantry really wasn't up to the task, my merchant militia are holding back that many enemies. Whereas maybe better infantry would have been able to do this with a little bit more gusto. And they lack muscle and numbers next to some other factions, like the numbers obviously here against orc factions, they struggle against that. And the muscle in terms of more elite forces like the dwarves obviously, the infantry gulf is going to become very apparent there. But yeah, Eriador have to rely on their wiles to win a lot of the time, and they've been given more options than vanilla, and they are certainly more viable, but that is still the case here. And next, I think we shall move on to the evil factions once again, of some description.